Now, it's The Law Show on CL 650, a comprehensive look at everything you need to know about the law.
Now, we have about 3 minutes left. So do you have any instances where someone was offered, say, we'll pick this number again, 10,000, and then ended up with a significantly larger settlement?
I just settled one the other day on the eve of trial, and it was what ICBC calls a low velocity impact collision, which means there's very little damage to the vehicle. And they go in with the impression, because of that little damage, which isn't the case at law at all, which the science doesn't prove whatsoever, and the courts or doctors don't agree with it. But because it was a minor impact and little damage, that this is not warranting a large award because the person can't possibly be injured. Well, in this case, she had a very objective injury, which this should be clear cut. She had an osteochondral fracture of her heel from hitting the brake, and this light tap hit, and she injured her foot, and it's caused her problems. She couldn't do her secondary job as a waitress at night, and so on and so on. So this was a potentially large claim that ICBC just ignored because it was an LVI before. And she'd been offered, I believe, $20,000, and we ended up settling for, I'm not going to tell the exact number, but
a multiple of that?
Yes, several times over. And she goes, thank goodness I came to you before, because I was about to take that $20,000, and they were convincing me at ICBC that because it was such minor damage that no one would believe I'm possibly as injured as I'm saying I am. No one would believe that I'm having all these problems and I can't be a waitress anymore because, hey, look at the pictures, look at the vehicle. There's no damage to it. So how could you be? Mm-hmm. And she was almost convinced that even though she had this objective injury and that it was having this effect on her life, that she wasn't as injured as she in fact was.
Well, I have
the 20.
I had a rear ender. I was at a stop sign, and the fella hit me, and he probably hit me at 2 kilometers an hour. There was zero damage. Mm-hmm. And I just brushed it off and said, oh, well, there's no problem here. And away we go. Well, the next day I woke up and my neck was killing me. I went to the chiropractor, went to the massage therapist. And then it was about 3 days later, and I realized, oh, wait a second, you were tapped by that car. I'd forgotten about it. Mm-hmm. And I had, it went away in a few days, and it wasn't a long-term issue. But the car was barely moving, and I had an issue. So I can see how that could affect it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's people all the time that have these low-impact collisions, and there's very little damage, and, ICBC holds on to that, but that's not the reality here. The doctors are the ones that are going to talk about your injuries, and there's various factors, how your body was positioned when you were hit and whatnot.